Alright guys, what's happening? Sorry about that. You know, Instagram always does that thing where you have a time limit. Apparently they moved it up to an hour at least, which is nice. So yeah, they moved it from an hour or from 30 minutes to an hour, so it's nice. Thanks again if you're rejoining. If I didn't get to your guys' questions, I'll have somebody on here a little bit later. One of you guys, whoever wants to come on here, and we'll just talk. A lot of people are in the same boat as you. You know, if you were just coming in, you don't know what to actually focus on or whatever. A lot of people in the same boat. So, yeah, just come on. Don't be shy. Obviously, when you come on, just make sure you're keeping it professional. I'm not one of those Instagram accounts where you know, you're just gonna sit here and freaking troll and be a little shithead. Everyone's here because they want to learn stuff, and that's what I'm here for. Make sure you guys learn, stay focused, have a good conversation, and then we'll keep on moving on. All right, so a couple questions here. Knots. Honestly, it's really, really simple knots. You're going to be tying the bowline, inside bowline knot. You're going to be tying the square knot, and it's inside bowline without the safety for all you guys or Boy Scouts or whatever. Just the inside bowline knot. You're going to tie a square knot. You're going to tie the girth hitch with an extra turn. You're going to tie the clove hitch, and then you'll tie the fisherman's knot. Single fisherman's knot means not just one half of the fisherman's knot, but you know, the whole fisherman's knot together. So you can do that kind of stuff, but honestly, people pick up the knot stuff pretty quickly and the muscle memory, because when you're actually at Indoc, you're kind of like living, eating, and breathing Indoc, and everything that you're doing all day is geared towards learning whatever, and you'll have plenty of time to tie knots. But those are the knots you need to know. Jay Millender 7173, is it better to do calisthenics than weightlifting for prepping? Absolutely. You are going to be tested on calisthenics, so I don't really care if somebody can freaking deadlift 500 or 600 pounds if they can't do the bare minimum for the pass test. Like, they can't do 54 push-ups or whatever, or 52 push-ups, and they are able to deadlift that much. They're not going to make it in the program. So focus on what matters, which is your calisthenics, your run, your swim, and a little bit on your water con as much as possible, and you'll be good to go. There is a little bit of weight training that I would do. Like, I would keep up on a little bit of your deadlifts, not because you're trying to go for your max reps or whatever, but because you're going to be carrying heavy things. So you want to make sure your back muscles and your core muscles are strong. I always, even like now, even though I'm not trying to go to Indoc, I have a weight vest that I work out with. I have my sandbag that I go running up and down the street with. I'm wearing my tack vest and carrying my sandbag. Everyone thinks I'm crazy, or I'm carrying my steel mace down the street, or even when I run, I carry a 7-pound mace. Even when I'm running like 7 miles or whatever, people look at me funny and they're like, what is this guy doing? They're like, is he going to hurt me or whatever? But I'm practicing to be like functional. If I'm running anywhere in a deployed situation, I'm going to have my rifle with me, which weighs a little bit heavier probably than 7 pounds, especially with ammo in it, but at least it's similar and I'm ready to go. So always practice, kind of like you fight, you know, you always hear that kind of stuff, but it's a reality. Every time I was deployed, I did long runs with weight vests on and carrying weights, because that's what I was going to do if the shit hit the fan and things were, you know, I had to go do something, save somebody. So, yes, I recommend doing more calisthenics than weightlifting for sure. And if you're going to do weightlifting, don't try and go crazy on that stuff. Cat Daddy, advice for Phase 2. So Phase 2, whether you're going to the Crow Phase 2 or you're going to the Phase 2 selection for the Enlisted, it's really, obviously we're trying to do a gut check. The cadre are trying to make sure that you are actually ready to go, and you're not going to be one of those guys that's just going to instantly quit for Indoc, because we want you guys to be the leadership for the team and be able to pull guys through Indoc and the rest of the pipeline. And obviously you're going to be an NCO or whatever, or an officer, so you have to lead these other guys that are in the class with you. So we want you to be a solid person. So with that, one of the main things that we like to see is confidence in yourself and your abilities. Like, we like to know that you have practiced whatever it is, whatever event you're going into, and that it's not like obviously there are going to be times when you're stressed out, and we try to make it stressful, but don't let that show. You got to be like a freaking duck. Like my instructors, I used to tell my students, and some of the instructors used to say when I was going through, like, you got to be a duck. You got to be just calm in the water. You ever see them? They're just like whatever, or they're quacking or whatever. But underneath the water, their feet are just doing this thing the whole time. They're just like moving, they're thinking, they're whatever. But you can't tell because, they're on top of the water, all you can see. So you got to just freaking relax. Don't show any emotion. Like, tell you guys, all right, head to the pool, do 10 ups, whatever. Obviously, we're going to be yelling at you when we say that. Don't show any emotion. Just think straight. All right, just say, all right, you get this gear, you get that gear. Make sure we're ready. You guys have a timeline of this and that. So show that you're able to be in a stressful situation and stay calm and comfortable. That's the main thing that I would say for phase 2. Obviously, preparation. I'm sure that you can research that and be ready for that. So Christian Padilla, 95. So the memorandum for retraining that talks about being released from your career field early. You can retrain after you've served at least, I think it's half of your enlistment for most people. I don't know what you had to do to either you extended or you signed your 4-year, 6-year contract and you still had time available. For the most part, you're able to go after halfway through your contract. Especially if you're in cross-training a career field that has bonuses. There's a little bit more that goes into that, but typically most people end up having to go out for a year and a half if they don't make it the first time, or whatever career field they're in. And after a year and a half, they're able to cross-train into Pararescue since it's such a critically manned career field. A. Garner, 89. The difference between the PAST and Indoc, and when you should be prepared to pass those. So the PAST test, you're going to be taking that with your recruiter the first time. You're going to be taking it a couple times. So a PAST test, you're going to take it with your recruiter a couple times until you pass the PAST, recruiter/T3I guy. And then once you actually get past BA prep, which is after basic training, then you'll take another PAST test. You got to pass that in order to get into development course, which is where you're going to be working with the Indoc instructors for the first time. And then you'll go into Indoc. And then Indoc is the actual, not a selection course per se, although you might think of it like that. But Indoc is really what it is. It's an indoctrination course. It's there to actually gear you towards what you're going to be kind of experiencing and set you up for success as far as a baseline for how to react to stress during stressful situations. So Indoc, those standards, you can check those out on the website also. I have all those up, and you can see that those are a lot higher than the PAST test. As far as swimming, there's also underwater activities involved, so check it out, and you can see the exact difference between those two tests and iterations. So big fish swimmer, honestly, I don't think, some people train for 10 ups a lot, and I don't really think it's a necessary thing to do, because you're not going to be able to replicate the same thing that you're going to see at Indoc. Like, you guys at Indoc, you're going to have somebody yelling at you. We're going to be slamming things. It's going to be a super loud environment. You're going to have your team there sounding off. You're going to see dudes that are like passing out. And it's not the same environment that you have in a pool when some kind of freaking classical music or whatever, or Rihanna's playing up on the big speaker, and you're just doing it by yourself. I wouldn't really necessarily train too much, but the main things that I see for guys doing 10-ups is they're not able to keep their back straight and hold a push-up position for a long time, so that singles them out instantly. And then it's really just teamwork. The guys that like push off first, don't kick your buddy in the face and like smash him back or whatever. You see that a lot. Dudes get bloody noses. So that's like the harder parts of 10-ups. It's not really just doing over and backs or whatever in the pool. Let's see. Josh 244, yes, 225 meters are definitely separate. We don't want you guys doing a 50 meter, especially when you first get going. Major difference between CCT swim versus PJ swim at Indoc. A lot of guys have been asking this recently. Like, CCT guys don't go to Indoc at all. They basically just do their CCSC, which is a combat control selection course, and that's 2 weeks long. They do a little bit of water confidence stuff, and then they go to ATC or whatever. PJs are the only ones that do Indoc. So, all right. Let's see. Anybody here? I'm going to answer a couple questions, but anybody that wants to get up on here? Oh, Kennedy, what's happening? If you want to come in here, shed some of your knowledge about the pipeline or whatever. Haven't seen you for a while. Yeah, he was one of my students for a while. Let's see. Stevenson, best advice for old dudes. Honestly, I'd stay on your vitamins. I know it sounds like crazy. I'm in that older category. I'm almost 33. But stay up on your vitamins, stay up on your foam rolling and stretching and hydrating, and stay away from alcohol. You know, all the stuff old guys have to do. It's harder for us to, you know, make sure that we keep off the weight a little bit. So stay away from, like, crappy foods. You know, you got to eat right, and that's really a big thing. Yes, I remember you, Cam Legend. Let's see. So, alternative to WaterCon that you can do. Some of the alternatives, I'd say, some of those CO2 tables that you can find online. Some guys do that kind of stuff. Honestly, just go to a different pool, find a buddy that you can go there with, or at least definitely lifeguards that you can have, and you need to practice underwater. That's like the bottom line. So join a different gym or do whatever. You need to practice a little bit, at least in your stroke. I don't care if you're like popping all the time, as long as you're able to get your stroke down and you're like 5 to 6 strokes for 25 meters. That's what you're really aiming for. So again, if anybody wants to jump up on here and talk, then we go ahead and talk. Other than that, I'll recap some of the things that we talked about. Oh, actually, I wanted to talk about some of this stuff. I want to clear some of the air. So I really didn't have an Instagram or a Facebook or any of that kind of stuff until I started doing this, because I wanted to share knowledge with you guys, and I don't really, I'm not like big on social media or anything like that. I'm not always like, hey, look at this stuff that I'm doing or whatever. I'm not really good at that, because a lot of times I'm just like, I'm just eating a sandwich or I'm just doing whatever. Like, why does anybody care that I'm doing this stuff? But one of the things that I've seen, like, since I started doing this is every single person, a lot of people on here, like, think they know about the entire, like, SpecOps community. They're like, oh, this guy does this because of this. Like, even if you think that you know that kind of stuff, like, just be humble and, like, don't go out and making yourself look ridiculous, because there are a lot of people that are on here or whatever. I'm sure some PJs on here that have a lot of knowledge and actually know the right thing, but there's a lot of guys that don't know anything. They just have seen stuff in books, and it really is not good for you and the way that you look, because we're going to see you later on at some point, or your team's going to see you like, oh, you're that dude. Like, just be humble and don't sit there and feel like you know everything. I don't know everything about everything, but I do definitely know about Indoc, everything about Indoc. So, yeah, so that's just one thing I just want to throw out there. Just be humble. Let's see. How long do you have to wait before you go back after you get a disqualification? Typically, it's 1.5 years. If you fail because of a calisthenics or whatever, you're likely to get a washback, and you can stick around with the team or whatever, just be on CQ and wash back to the next team. But if it's for a reason like you quit or you're injured for a long time, then it's probably a year and a half or at least as long as it takes for you to heal. So, progress with women trying to pursue. I still haven't heard of any women that have really gone to Indoc. I know of some that have attempted it. Some have gone TAC-P. They haven't made it yet. So that's kind of where we're at with SpecOps. And as far as the Air Force is concerned, we haven't had any females come to Indoc yet. So we're still waiting for someone. Whenever it happens, it happens. Understand it takes a long time to train up to get to Indoc. But there are a couple of women using the workout program, and they're definitely seeing some good results. So Christian Daniels 602-544. Job difference between a PJ enlisted. Again, this stuff is on the website, but officer PJs are called CROWs, Combat Rescue Officers, and they basically only do a couple of things for a couple of years. They only do a couple of deployments, and then they end up kind of going to do some other kind of staff thing or staying in the JOC, Joint Operations Center, and doing some of the planning rather than doing mission stuff because they're more in a leadership and they need to take a back seat, not doing the medical stuff. So, all right. So I'm running short on time here. I got to go back and get studying. So some of the things that we covered again, we have some products that we've been working on. These Sophie shorts right here. These are going to be out soon. Only in limited quantities though, until we get the full shipment in. And you guys will be notified on that on Instagram. Women's t-shirt, tank top. That'll be out soon as well. Just getting stuff formatted and ready to go. Other things are, I'm still going to try and do this every month and make sure that you guys get as much info as possible. Just like I said before, just make sure you go and check out the website and answer your own questions first, do your homework, and then come over here and ask me. Because I'm definitely busy and I don't want to be rude and ignore you guys, but a lot of these questions are being asked a million times. So just go ahead and research that stuff yourself, and if you can't find the answer anywhere else, then I'll answer your question. So until then, make sure you're training hard, be humble, keep on pushing yourself, always be dedicated to what you're doing, and then I'll see you guys next time. Like I said, just keep on training hard and be safe out there. Hopefully, if you guys are coming to Indoc or whatever, let me know. I'll try and come visit you because I'm still around here. So appreciate you guys taking the time out and listening. If you guys learned something, go and share it. I want everyone to know all this information so they're ready to go. All right? I appreciate you guys' time, and I'll talk to you guys next time.